My next patron question is from Andrew, who wants me to compare two medieval set adventures made in the 90s and featuring questionable accents. I recently revisited two medieval movies around the same time, and I was surprised to see they had a lot in common. The two movies both focus on a mythical and legendary aspect in the Middle Ages, have stories in which a tyrannical figure, both played by soon-to-be Harry Potter alumni, must be defeated, feature American actors as the lead heroes and neither bother to use an English accent, and feature Sean Connery. Interestingly, both movies were also given mixed reception from critics and were hits at the box office, and each film has a solid cult following today. Which 1990s medieval movie do you think is better, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, or Dragonheart? Looking at both of these films, while I do think Robin Hood has things to appreciate, I prefer Dragonheart of the two. Dragonheart just really captures that childhood fantasy of swashbuckling adventure and hanging out with mythical creatures. It's a film that wants to be soaring and awe-inspiring, and I think it succeeds at accomplishing that. I think the strongest element of the film comes from the friendship between the titular dragon Draco and the dragon hunter Bowen. That growing bond is believable, and they make a solid team. It also helps when you have Sean Connery as a fitting voice for Draco, and while his accent is imperfect, Dennis Quaid also turns in a nice performance. Dina Mayer's accent stays entirely American though, resulting in her seeming out of place. The world building manages to properly establish what's at stake, and the action is well directed, with plenty of strong stunt work. Plus you have David Thewlis and Jason Isaacs chewing the scenery as the villains. When looked at through modern eyes, I can see why some might scoff at the special effects, but this is one of the earliest films to feature a computer-generated character in a central role, so for 1996, it can be seen as a breakthrough. We also get Randy Edelman's triumphant score, which has understandably been heard in many a trailer and montage. Dragonheart is a solid fantasy film in my opinion. As for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, I think some aspects work better than others. Even though it was released in 1991, the movie actually feels closer to modern films, the way it takes a classic story and makes it serious and dark, so as to make it come across as more adult. I find the first hour a bit of a slog, as it takes on a somber tone without too much adventure. It also does not help that the dialogue is a bit dull, and yes, there's Kevin Costner's performance. Everyone has made fun of him for sticking with his usual way of speaking, while others in the cast at least attempted something appropriate for a Robin Hood movie. However, I think the biggest problem is I don't find Costner's Robin all that interesting or charismatic, and that does become an issue when he's rallying the residents of Nottingham and Sherwood Forest, and for his romantic scenes with Maid Marian. I will admit I also find it difficult to watch the movie because I keep being reminded of Robin Hood Men in Tights at several points. That's obviously Mel Brooks' fault, not the film's, but it's still a problem when a parody has this much effect on one's viewing experience. After all, I can still watch Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein without letting Young Frankenstein cloud my judgment. I do think Prince of Thieves starts to get a lot more entertaining when Robin and his merry men start stealing from the rich to give to the poor. There are a few well put together scenes as we see the characters perform these deeds, and the climax does present plenty of worthwhile action. The highlight of Prince of Thieves, though, is easily Alan Rickman. As the Sheriff of Nottingham, Rickman has a blast with making him as over-the-top evil as possible. He literally declares the cancellation of Christmas at one point. That's how villainous he is. Rickman even helped rewrite several of the Sheriff's lines due to his dissatisfaction with the original dialogue, and that definitely helped make him a scene stealer. I also want to praise the score by Michael Kamen, which has the appropriate adventurous quality, although I'm sure many of you will recognize the main theme for its use on Disney DVDs. Anyway, let me know in the comments whether you prefer Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, or Dragonheart, and thank you for your question, Andrew.